It is a period of Star Wars mania, as new movies, comic books, novels, and TV shows populate the system. Fueled by their love and passion for the galaxy far, far away, two exceptional geeks tap into hundreds of holocrons in order to bring you the knowledge and insight of all things Star Wars. Come and join them as they go inside the Force.
Welcome back to Inside the Force, everyone, the podcast exploring the galaxy far, far away. I'm David Cottingham with Casey Cooley.
Hello.
Week 12.
Week 12. There you go.
Episode 12. And this one is entitled Peregrine's Nest. And we'll get into why that's called Peregrine's Nest. We gotta meet. We know why.
Yeah.
As we started last week, for this month, we are doing Rebel Alliance month. We are talking about the formation of the Rebel Alliance by the three key members. Last week, we hit on Bail Organa.
Yes.
I was thinking the title. What did we call that? His
Serene
Highness was his nickname. Yeah, Bail Organa. This week, we are going to hit on Garm Bel Iblis, who we have mentioned a few times, I think, because we've talked about Corellia, which is where he is from, and we've talked about Galen Merrick a few times, Starkiller, and how that whole thing went down. So we'll get more into that in this episode. Next week, we are going to hit on Mon Mothma, who was the third aspect of the Corellian treaty that officially started the Rebel Alliance. And then to finish up the month of the last week, we are going to talk about just the Rebel Alliance specifically on after its formation, all the stuff beforehand, and then, during the movies, the stuff that they did during the movies and whatnot. And even maybe a little bit after. I know a lot of it's not canon, because episode 7 could destroy a lot of that. But anyway, so we're going to talk about the second week here, Garm Bel Iblis. Now, he's a guy that you don't, unless you do a lot of research, you don't really know about him.
Yeah.
If you just watch the movies, you don't know him. So we're going to give you the stuff that comes. That's pretty canon, though. I mean, the stuff that.
Yeah, there's a couple big things that are canon with him.
Absolutely.
And the rest is,
So he is a legit character in the Star Wars universe. He is, like we said, one of the main three of the Corellian Treaty that we've talked about before, but we'll get into that more. So he's from Corellia, which is a major, major system in the Republic. Two people that we've already talked about that we know are from there, Wedge Antilles. Han Solo.
Indeed.
And we've actually profiled the planet Corellia.
Yeah.
Where we've said that it is a major military world where a lot of ships, a lot of battleships, a lot of military grade ships are created, starships. So that's why he is so essential to the Republic.
Indeed. But yeah, Garm Bel Iblis is a senator, and he's basically was a senator in 35 BBY. So several years before Episode 1, he had been senator, right? 32 BBY was Episode 1?
Correct.
Okay, so 3 years before that, he was elected as Corellia's representative in the Galactic Senate, and he kind of quickly became a very popular senator. He was very charismatic, and everybody thought he embodied the spirit of Corellian independence, and he gained a lot of friends. One friend in particular, which he shared a lot of beliefs with, was another senator of the CERN sector, and his name is Fang Zar. And a lot of people probably wouldn't recognize. I didn't recognize the name until I saw his picture. He actually is in the movies. I don't know if he's just in. Is he just in the deleted scenes? He's probably somewhere else.
I think he's in that scene when Amidala first shows up in Episode 2.
Okay.
You know where she almost gets assassinated?
Yeah.
She walks in with all those senators?
Yeah,
I think he's in that.
Fang Zar.
I think. I'm not 100%
African-American. He's got a big, long beard, a lot
Right.
of hair. I think it's just dressed I don't know, almost like a gypsy, I guess. I'm not sure. But from the CERN sector, and becomes good friends with Bel Iblis, and he becomes a key factor actually in the rebellion later on, as I will talk about. But during pretty much since from the get-go, Bel Iblis has been against Palpatine, it seems like.
Yes.
Whereas Bail Organa, was he aligned with Palpatine legitimately, but during the Clone Wars, not during the Clone Wars, before the Clone Wars, but then like kind of after the Clone Wars, and that Bail Organa, although he didn't like Palpatine, still pretended to go along with him. Bel Iblis just straight up, he's against him.
Spoke up against him too.
Very, he's a politician, so he's gonna stay against his ideals, and particularly one of the biggest during all the all time frame of episode 1 and episode 2, Bel Iblis is outspoken against Palpatine, and Palpatine in turn is trying to kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Destroy the reputation of Bel Iblis by kind of talking, spreading stuff throughout the Senate. But really, it doesn't. It comes into like a bit of a climax of sorts when in episode 2 we know that Chancellor Palpatine does the order to create the big army, the big clone, or to use the Clone Wars army, the clones for the army. It's actually has a name which can't find it right here, but when Palpatine had the order, or was going
the Military Creation Act,
the Military Creation Act, where it basically creates an army for the Republic, which had not been around for thousands or so years. And Bel Iblis was totally against this idea, mainly because creating this army, allowing it to basically enlisting this army would create a huge basically increase in taxes, or the taxpayers would basically pay for this army, and he didn't want his
of the entire galaxy pretty much.
And Corellia already had their kind of security task force, nicknamed Corsec, Corellian security team, or something like that. But the people of Corellia are already paying for this security task force, and Bel Iblis didn't want them to, in addition to that, pay for the army. So he's straight up against this Military Creation Act, and so he's against it. And because Palpatine is going through with it, Bel Iblis decides to not really secede from the Republic as a whole, but basically make Corellia a neutral planet during the war. It's he kind of washes his hands clean of the Senate. He's still a senator, but he doesn't basically participate in any of the Senate's dealings. Which it actually is there is a legal term for this in the Star Wars universe. It's got a Latin name, so bear with me. Contemplanis Hermi, which means, translated into basic, as meditative solitude. This allows Corellia and its constituencies to withdraw from the Senate activities as long as they wish. And this hasn't been used in a long time, but Bel Iblis uses this to basically not be a part of the war at all. So he has no obligation to fight alongside the Republic against the Separatists. But although he kind of does, there's some battles that happen, like right after the Battle of Geonosis, there are some battles happening on Corellia. And so basically Bel Iblis, just out of pure defense, aligns himself with the Jedi to fight the Separatists off his planet. But so a couple of things happen then and there, and he still remains neutral throughout the entire war, still basically, voicing his disapproval of Palpatine and the whole war altogether.
Right.
And also during this time, during the Clone Wars, he is having some talks with the other senators about Palpatine's rash decisions. And these senators, we already know, Bail Organa is one of them, Mon Mothma is another one, and also Fang Zar, his senator friend. He is a part of this group who share their distrust towards Palpatine, because they think they suspect he's trying to gain more and more power to basically, become an emperor of sorts, and he really does. Because this is around the time when Palpatine does emergency powers, eliminates the Chancellor term life, so basically he can be Chancellor forever.
Right.
So these 4 people, Organa, Mothma, Bel Iblis, and Fang Zar, are having kind of meetings, to talk about trying to, persuade Palpatine to let go of some of his power. And we don't really see it. in some deleted scenes of episode 3, we see these senators, except for Bel Iblis, he's always remaining on Corellia. He's got too much to deal with Corellia. He, like, as I said, he doesn't want to deal with the Senate, but he still kind of has this behind the scenes persona about it. So Bel Iblis and these 3 other senators, and actually, a lot of other senators, create what's called the Delegation of 2000, and it's a petition asking Palpatine to kind of step down and let the Senate do their job and end the war. And these are deleted scenes in episode 3. You can actually watch this, where the senators go to Palpatine presenting this, basically their plea for him to step down. They're asking him to step down, and Palpatine just says, "No, I'm not going to do it." And that's where we see Feng Zar, Queen Amidala, or Padme, not Queen anymore, but Padme. Is Mon Mothma there? I can't remember. She's there, and Bail Organa's there. So. That is canon. This whole Delegation of 2000. That's
the thing about it. Even though they're deleted scenes, they're part of the canon still. They're just not in the movie, but technically they did happen.
Yeah,
they had these meetings. They formed this delegation.
Yeah. So this delegation is just one of the first kind of resistance against what will be the Empire. So that's squashed pretty quickly. And Bel Iblis, who signed the petition, just stays on Corellia for a while. Then throughout the Clone Wars, he's just there hanging out. And then the episode 3, what happens at the end of that? The Jedi Order 66, the Great Purge of the Jedi Order happens, and then so really, Bel Iblis's fears come true. Palpatine, is now the Emperor, and he's kind of laying on thick. He's basically Palpatine, as we know at this point, is starting to kind of kill the people who are going up against him. And shortly after Order 66 in Episode 3, Palpatine assassinates Feng Zar for certain acts that he did, outspoken acts he did against the Emperor. And Bel Iblis, although he's this big, popular senator, he kind of lays low for a while because he knows he's being hunted. Not really. Well, sort of. He's on the Palpatine's list of people I'm watching you. Right. If you screw up, I'm going to kill you. So he's kind of laying low for a while, secretly having meetings with the rest of the senators who don't like Palpatine, which is Bail Organa, and now it's just Mon Mothma. And there is actually one other senator who kind of wants to start a rebellion, and I'm trying to find his name here. He is Cian Tev of the Celestin planet. I guess he's the. I'm going to say he might be the senator of Celest. But let me quickly find here. Yeah, he was a politician on Celest, and he was kind of secretly in talks of rebelling against the Empire. And that's the thing. During this time, during the 19-year period between Episode 3 and Episode 4. Each of these planets, Mon Mothma of Chandrilla, Alderaan, and Corellia, and Sullust, they each had their own resistance movement, their own individual kind of mini rebellion. They didn't do a whole lot, but it was still kind of there. And so, basically, the senators are coming together and talking about how they can be stronger and how they can, be more unified to defeat the Empire. And then later on, several years later, I guess closer to basically what we know in The Force Unleashed, they start to talk about actually being unified and being one solid rebel alliance to defeat the Empire. Well, Cian Tev, the Celestin politician, he backs out. He gets too nervous and he drops it, and so and a couple other some other people with him I think drop out, but Bail Organa, Mon Mothma, and Bel Iblis remain. And they're the only 3 more motivated senators to do this rebellion. So then we come to basically 2BBY, the events that we see in Force Unleashed, where Galen Marek, Starkiller, brings these 3 senators out of kind of their seclusion to create the official rebel alliance to go against the Empire. And then what we know in Force Unleashed, which we talked about here before, that actually is what Galen Marek actually brings them out of hiding so they can be captured by Vader. But that doesn't even work. And so therefore, after that, after the Force Unleashed, and basically the Emperor now knows who's part of this Rebel Alliance. Mon Mothma and all of them kind of really go into even more hiding. But Bail Organa, I guess I'm still confused about him.
Yeah, I am too.
Whether he goes into hiding, I guess he just lays low, or I don't know, whatever. Takes a vacation. I don't know. But Bail Iblis really does go into hiding, and Mon Mothma goes into hiding for several years. I mean, they're still working with the Rebel Alliance, but they're not, doing it out in the open.
Right.
And then, I mean, that's basically all of the main important things, because from then on out, it's the original trilogy movies. Although we never even hear of a Bel Iblis during the original trilogy. He's still there, and he's still working kind of behind the scenes. Actually, he still wants to fight and defeat the Emperor, but he kind of sees Mon Mothma, because now she's the kind of de facto leader of the Rebel Alliance, because Bail Organa, he died in the explosion of Alderaan. So now it's just Bail Iblis and Mon Mothma, and Bail Iblis is kind of watching Mon Mothma slowly taking over power of the Rebel Alliance, because it was like a equal, leadership. Yeah, the three senators, they had equal leadership. Bail died, so now it's just the remaining two, and Mon Mothma's kind of squeezing out Bail Iblis, and she's honestly becoming somewhat of a dictator herself in the Rebel Alliance. So we'll get more into that next week. But Bail Iblis is fearing that Mon Mothma, if the rebels win, Mon Mothma might kind of establish herself as basically an empress. And so he's kind of in himself preparing for that possible future, where he's gathering his own kind of starships in case she, tries basically substitute one emperor for another. And so he has to. So he's kind of preparing for the fact that he might have to fight Mon Mothma, which that never happens, thank goodness. But that's basically Bail Iblis. He's a very important part of the Rebel Alliance. But unlike Bail Organa, who is out there in the open, he, was the face of, the Rebel Alliance, sort of. He was always dealing with the Emperor, pretending he's his friend, but really his enemy. And the opposite of that, Bail Iblis, still powerful, is in the shadows, and he's very behind-the-scenes guy. But hopefully we'll see him. I hope we see him in the movies or something like that, because he's a very cool character. He's really important role in the expanded universe after the during like the Thrawn trilogy and all that stuff. So he's a really awesome character, very good strategist, military strategist, and just really we need to see more of him. If not in the Rebel TV show, hopefully we'll see him in that.
I think we will. Yeah.
If not in that, then some movie he's got to be in there somewhere.
Now, because I know we've hit on it a few times, but I want to go back to that the Corellian Treaty, because that was really when the main stuff happens. And I can't stress this enough. If you haven't played the game Force Unleashed, just the story alone is worth playing it. And we're definitely, if you haven't played it, we're spoiling it right now. But anyway, so, and we have been.
Yeah.
But
whatever.
But the beauty of that game is that you really find meaning, and more deep meaning, in the creation of it.
Yeah.
Because it's not as simple as these three people, Mothma, Iblis, and Organa. It's not as simple as them finally saying, "Okay, let's get together and we're all three fighting the Empire by ourselves,
right? With
these resistance groups that you said. Let's just get together and form this alliance and then fight them together." It wasn't that simple. It actually was Palpatine. Palpatine, the Emperor. Basically, what you find out in the game is that he orchestrated this whole thing with Vader and his apprentice, Starkiller, made Starkiller basically, want to get revenge on Vader by bringing these people together, only so that they know, because they met on Corellia, right? I think it was
some temple in the mountains of Corellia or something. Yeah, like that.
And so right when they signed the treaty, boom, the Empire shows up, captures them. Now, a big component that we need to make sure that we stress also was it actually isn't just those three, because you remember that General Koda was there from the Jedis.
Yeah.
And so it was the fact that the Jedi, because Organa even said it in the game, he's like, I will supply the funds, Mothma will supply the soldiers, Iblis will supply basically artillery, the ships. And then we have the support of the Jedis, because Organa was a big Jedi supporter.
Yeah.
I mean, he was there when Yoda and them guys went into hiding. And he may be the only one out of them all that even knew that they existed still.
Probably. Yeah.
So the fact that Koda comes out and he is willing and he's blind at this point, he got his eyes knocked out by Starkiller, but it's the Jedi were in fact involved in that alliance there. So, and then also with Starkiller, Starkiller was there saying, "I'm with you," Well, then he gets betrayed and they get captured, but then he redeems himself by going and saving them. Now, that's the one thing that we need to do more research on, because you're right. After that happens, it's still 2 years before Alderaan gets destroyed.
Yeah.
And it seems like Bail Organa is hanging out still. I'm not sure. I don't know if it was because he was so, high as far as his royalty, and that there was no way the Emperor can just assassinate him. You know what I mean? Like,
no, that's probably it.
It's probably it. It's probably a reason that he made himself so public that he couldn't just kill him.
Yeah.
Because then people would start. Because granted, no matter how evil Palpatine was, he actually did politically keep people at bay. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't act in a way that they were like, oh my God, this guy's a tyrant. He acted. I mean, they gave him the power, and he's just acting the power. So that's probably it. Mothma and Iblis, like you said, went into hiding, I think, after they got snubbed out. But
building up the Rebel Alliance, basically.
Yes, exactly. So the Force Unleashed is very unbelievable. I remember just when I first played it, and then realizing that Starkiller, his family crest is the crest of the Rebel Alliance. You know what I mean? So that you find out all that stuff with the game, which is awesome. And then Bliss, there's not, like I said, if you watch the movies, you don't know much about him at all. But so Peregrine's nest.
Okay. Yeah.
You kind of mentioned it.
Barely touched upon it.
But he forms this base.
Yeah.
One of his hidden bases when he's striking against the Empire. It was called Peregrine's Nest. And he kept this base even throughout episodes 4, 5, and 6. He had this base where he would supply the Rebel Alliance with ships, where he would stockpile, like you said. Is that the place that's the place you were talking about, right?
That's, where he amassed this big star fleet.
Because once the Emperor got defeated and the Alliance was making its way to Coruscant to invade and to take over again, establish the new Republic. That's when he thought, okay, well, just in case Mothma takes over and becomes Empress, I'm going to keep my Peregrine's Nest hidden and build all this military up just in case. And then in the end, in the expanded universe, you're saying that's what he was used against Admiral Thrawn, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, so. But, we don't know if that's going to be canon, I guess it's possible that Thrawn may show up in these expanded universe.
I'm not counting on it, but
I'm not either. I wish it would happen, but
honestly, what we're talking about now could be changed too about his history. It could theoretically about the more detailed things probably. Like
because if he's in this television show, Rebels, yes, it's very much so. It could be. Because because unfortunately, there really is no hint at all about him having this feelings on against Mothma.
Yeah.
So all that stuff is technically to canon right now. Not G canon in a way. So it's possible a lot of that can change. But the bottom line is he was, in fact, part of the Corellian Treaty one of the 3 founding members of the Rebel Alliance, senator from Corellia. I mean, that stuff is who he is.
There's just a couple things too that are very interesting about him. One big thing is his family. He was married, had kids, and his wife, who he met, during the, before the Clone Wars. He got married early on, but during the Galactic Civil War, his wife was a big proponent
of the Empire.
Yeah, she was heavy supporter of Palpatine, and so they had a lot of fights at home. The kids witnessed a lot of fights between these guys, and something really tragic happened actually with his family. What was the details behind all that?
I couldn't find the specifics.
Yeah. I think it was
all I know is that the Empire murdered his family.
Basically, I think it was. I don't
know if they were coming for him.
I think he was on Corellia. They were coming for him. I think it was Bel Iblis got word from Bail Organa's messenger that he wanted to meet with Bel Iblis, and so Bel Iblis went to meet this messenger to talk get something about the rebels. I think it was I read Organa wanted to send a message to Bail Iblis saying, send one of your most trusted aides to go retrieve this data disk, which has plans of a super secret weapon of the Empire or something like that, basically the Death Star. And so while Bail Iblis is away from his office meeting with this messenger, I guess his family's back at his office. That explodes. His office explodes because the Empire set bombs there, I guess, to kill Bel Iblis. And his family, I think, was just there as collateral damage, I guess, basically. And so his wife, although his wife was a big supporter of the Empire,
right.
He was still in love with her. He still...
Oh, yeah.
He was still committed to her. So, I mean, that's, a very interesting dynamic in the household. And one other little moment I read here that Bel Iblis actually had an encounter with an 11-year-old Han Solo.
Yes.
He was at... Bel Iblis was going to some schools on Coruscant. He was visiting schools on Coruscant, and I guess...
it was on Corellia.
Corellia was? Oh, that's because Han Solo was at Corellia, correct.
Yeah, it was at Corellia.
So Han Solo was at one of these schools, and he was asking Bel Iblis all these questions about the corruption in the Senate, or the politics and corruption of Palpatine, and the treatment of non-human species and by the Empire, because he was very sensitive to non-human aliens, basically, being mistreated,
right.
Which is, Chewbacca basically leads to him to Chewbacca. But, yeah, and then Bel Iblis was like, I want to keep my eye on you.
Yeah.
And
now, see, that actually, I'm pretty sure, I think that conflicts with the Han Solo novelizations.
Was that in the Han Solo novelization?
I don't think so, because in those books, he leaves Corellia when he's like 6 or 7.
Yeah. To go to, Kashyyyk, or?
Well, yeah, he's on a smuggler's ship, this guy named Stryker.
Okay.
So he's... on the ship and leaves, and that's where he befriends the Wookiee. There's a woman Wookiee, a female Wookiee on there that he befriends, and all this stuff happens on the ship. And he's away from Corellia from then on, for a while. I think. I don't think in those books he's ever in school on Corellia. So
okay.
I don't know how much of that is canon or not.
Yeah.
I mean, those books aren't canon, obviously.
Right.
Technically, his whole story, Han Solo's story, is probably not canon.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, unless we see it in Rebels,
from what I've heard, that what was going to happen in Episode 3 with Han Solo, because there was supposed to be a young Han Solo in Episode 3. Mm-hmm. So if that, I don't know, that's technically not canon because it didn't happen, but oh well.
Yeah.
But there you go.
We may get into Han eventually. That would be definitely, but...
I should read those books.
Yeah, it's been a while. I've read them. I read them when they came out, and it's been a long. That was, and that was when I was in high school, probably in the early '90s or something.
But Bel Iblis, his first appearance was actually in the Thrawn trilogy. I'm pretty sure. I think so.
Yeah.
Let me double check that, but that's what at least when I first read about him, and those were the first books. One of the first books I think of the Expanded Universe. One of the first series. First appearance was Dark Force Rising. That's the second book in the trilogy.
That's the second book. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. And so technically, I guess his only other appearance is the Force Unleashed, right?
When you actually see him, definitely. Yeah.
I mean, canon appearance.
Canon is that his only canon appearance? Yeah. I mean, he's been in a lot of books.
Yeah.
But that's his only canon appearance as Force Unleashed, and it is canon, guys.
Yeah.
It's Lucas himself was saying this is revealing new things about the Star Wars galaxies. This is, and they had
So it's his story.
Yep,
Yeah.
it's his story.
So canon.
Yeah.
So Garm Bel Iblis, we will continue the Rebel Alliance month next week with Mon Mothma, the third signature on the Corellian Treaty. So right now we're going to talk about some news this week.
News.
I know one thing was one thing that I was actually pretty excited about. I saw actually just today, because E3 is happening this week.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of game trailers are coming out, especially with the announcement of Xbox One, the new gaming console, which I'm definitely going to purchase.
$500 for November.
Yeah.
I mean,
is it come out in November?
It says November, I think, of this year.
I couldn't see it. I couldn't find a date because right now I got a actually, this is a complete side thing.
That's okay.
But I got an email about the pre-order because they were like, I don't know if everybody got this, but they're like, hey, you've been with us for 10 years. I've been with Xbox Live for over 10 years.
Oh, I have not. No.
So I got this email saying you can pre-order Xbox One and we'll give you an extra controller and an exclusive achievement, which I'm not big on, whatever, but an achievement that no one else really will get. So I don't know. I don't know if you had to be like a 10-year member to get this email, or I don't know, whatever. But
I didn't get an email.
It was a big like thank you, all this stuff. I'm like, oh, that's cool. They do appreciate. They do, send me some good stuff all the time. But I will be purchasing. I've been holding out because I've been wanting to buy that new sleek, 360. But I was like,
the
I know,
thing.
yeah. Oh, I have the Elite, but it's like
with the new
body and the new processor.
Yeah,
in
the
it.
processor. Yeah.
But I was like, I know something new is coming out, and plus I knew that there would be a second generation Kinect. I didn't want the first generation, so this is the next wave, and I'm definitely gonna get this.
Yeah, I'm gonna get it eventually. Hope just because it's one-stop entertainment system.
Totally.
So
Blu-ray, connection to all your Netflix and YouTube and internet.
Incredible.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. So
anyway,
so Battlefront.
Yes.
Star Wars Battlefront they announced, which is weird because they've had a Battlefront and a Battlefront 2, right? Have they not?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
We've been working
But this is not Battlefront 3, even though
really,
even though it is, but it's not named Battlefront 3.
Yeah.
So they came out with a little teaser for it, and it's one of those. It's what all the games are doing now. It's like a 3D animated trailer, so it's not gameplay, but it's hinting at the Battle of Hoth. Now I don't know. You played the other games. I don't know how.
I love those games so much.
Were they just specifically themed, or were they spread over like several movies, or even?
Okay, let me double check. They were both spread out. Yeah. The first one, they both tell the
What
story.
generation did they happen in?
Was
it the original trilogy movies?
Both. Yeah,
prequels and the
it starts off in the prequels. It's the whole story of Star Wars basically through the eyes of the clone troopers and the stormtroopers. But yeah, it's really cool. I just love those games so much. The first one was really cool. I remember playing it nonstop, and it's not RPG, but it's I don't know what they call it.
First person.
It can it's third person, but you can make it first person. I don't know what kind of games you'd call these. Anyways, it's kind of like you respawn games. That maybe what you call them. I don't know.
They're role playing games.
Role playing games, yeah. But they're really cool. You play on all these planets across the galaxy, and it's like a whatever kind of game. It's almost like a Risk, I guess you can say, but not really kind of game. But then the second one, you get to play as Jedi and have space battles, and that was a cool advancement in the games. And the third one, because I saw footage from this game, they've been working on it for a while. I know that since like 2008, I think, or earlier than that maybe. But I saw footage earlier this year of gameplay footage of it, and it looked really awesome. The effects weren't totally done, but you can fly the Millennium Falcon, you can do all this sorts of stuff, and go to these more different planets that we haven't seen before. But I think that was like leaked footage. I don't think that was supposed to be shown.
Oh, right.
Because with this announcement, I'm reading, the teaser trailer, and they're saying, everybody's like, oh, we want more. And like, they haven't released any gameplay footage or anything like that. They've only released this cinematic trailer. And I was like, but I've seen stuff before. I know it, but I guess I wasn't supposed to see it. But, so yeah, it's like a reboot of the franchise, which is really weird to me. A rebooting of a video game franchise. So it's just called Star Wars Battlefront. But it's a new. I mean, this is like the new EA Disney. The
game. First game. It seems like, which means they've obviously been working on it because this. They just announced this thing and they already got.
Yeah.
They already got this made, so they've had this. I'm sure.
Yeah, it's a new.
That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping 1313 has some life.
That better, dang it. And it's a new graphics engine. Who's doing the people that's doing this game? So it should look better than the previous games. The gameplay should be a whole lot better.
And then, of course, the episode 7 news.
Yeah, some brief little news. J.J. Abrams has been doing some interviews, and he mentions that he is going to London in January of next year to start pre-production, to kind of work on some pre-production of Star Wars. Not start it, but kind of work on pre-production of Star Wars. And to have a early 2004 production date, like basically start shooting maybe February or March of 2014, and that's kind of all he said. But people are speculating when it actually will be released, and it's very interesting when their suspected release dates. Like they're saying, if he's going to start shooting early 2014, then to get it released in 2015, it might come out in fall or Christmas of 2015. Is what people are saying. That's the speculation. The fact is, Abrams has confirmed saying that they are going to start production in early 2014. So, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that they're not doing effects or anything later this year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I think if they started shooting early next year, I think they can get it out by the summer of 2015.
Yeah, I feel like they should. But
I mean, Star Trek didn't take 2 years to do.
Yeah.
I mean, they shot it like a year and a half before.
Mm-hmm. Unless you're pulling out Superman and take forever.
I know. Well, that's Superman, but that's I think that's the latest you can start.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you're not starting until summer of 2014, then you're not getting it done in a year. I think.
Absolutely.
So I think that's actually good news. I think because I think that to me that guarantees that in 2015 I think we're going to get a Star Wars movie.
Yeah, gosh, I'm still waiting for an open casting call on the internet so I can because he did that for Super 8. Abrams did that, and he allowed the people to submit tapes. So it'll be fun just to do something like that. It's really cool.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Oh, I'll send it too. Yeah. I'm looking up. So that's really all that's the news that's happening.
Mm-hmm. Star Wars Weekends has been doing a lot of stuff. A lot of just cool. Like it's gotten so big now.
Yeah, I think that goes on till I think this past weekend was it? Was it not?
Last one? Ooh,
I think it was.
Maybe it's usually like 3 weekends in a row.
Yeah, it's been going on since the beginning of May.
Yeah.
So I think it lasts 4 weeks, but and of course we haven't been mentioning it, but of course coming up is Star Wars Celebration Europe 2 in Germany, July 26th to the 28th. You've got big guests going there. You got Dave Filoni, who's going to talk about Star Wars Rebels. Yeah. You got Ian McDermott. You got Carrie Fisher.
Mm-hmm. Kathleen Kennedy.
Kathleen Kennedy's going to be there. Yeah. I don't know if George is going to show up.
Maybe not. I think he's
going to be in Orlando again next year.
He's just chilling right now.
He is
got
just
married.
Chilling. Yeah.
He had a birthday recently. Did he have a birthday? And they just celebrated, like this past week, they just celebrated the 40th anniversary of American Graffiti.
Oh.
So he's just...
And it's the 30th anniversary of Return.
Yeah, he's just hanging out.
Oh, man.
Enjoying the spoils.
Yeah. With his $4 billion.
He's swimming.
Okay, I'm sorry. He gave 2 of them away, so he's got $2 billion.
He's swimming in gold coins.
So that's pretty much our show.
Yep, goodbye, guys.
Yeah, see you next week. After we do some trivia, of course.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say that next week we'll be able to talk about the next issue of the comic, which comes out this Wednesday.
Yep.
I think it's issue number 6 of the Star Wars comic. We're going to talk about that. Hopefully, I'm keeping track. I'm trying to look up. I was just looking up that the expansion pack of the card game, Star Wars card game, called Edge of Darkness, which expands on the 2 more affiliations. I don't know why it keeps getting delayed. They keep saying it's coming out, but it's supposed to be coming out in June sometime. So that's a big expansion to the game that we'll hit on when that goes on. But all right, so trivia through.
I'm gonna get it this time.
You are gonna get this time.
Yep.
Okay, so through 11 episodes, we're both 6 and 5.
Been tied forever.
Yeah, our record isn't that great for us Star Wars geeks. But this question is coming. It is 11:49. For anybody who wants to try it out, it's obsessed with Star Wars. Our 2,500 questions. 11:49. So this is going to be. It looks like it's going to be a New Hope era. Nope.
Sith. Yeah. Let's do this.
All right.
Bring it on.
Revenge of the Sith era. 11:49. Here's the question. Who manufactured the Theta class TSC shuttle?
Okay.
Who manufactured the Theta class T-2C shuttle? Was it A, the Cygnus Spaceworks, B, Kuwait Drive Yards, C, Horsch Kessel Drive Incorporated, or D, Gory Revolutionary Industries?
I can make an argument for any of those.
Do you want to see it?
Yeah. Read some of these names.
All right.
Oh, dear. 11:49.
9.
So who manufactured the Theta class T-2C shuttle? Cygnus Spaceworks. Horsch Kessel Drive, Inc. Kuwait Drive Yards.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, I don't have a feeling either way. This is going to be pure guess because I don't think I've heard of any of those.
I mean, I have like you see Kessel there, and I know the Kuwait. I've seen that somewhere. So I'm gonna go with B.
You're going with B?
B.
Let me see. Casey is going with B, Kuwait Drive Yards?
Yeah.
Okay, who manufactured the Theta class? Theta class. I wish I even knew what that looked like.
I'm sure we would recognize it, but
Yeah,
I
Theta
don't know.
class
Spaceship
T2C
names.
shuttle. You know what? I'm gonna go C.
okay,
I'm gonna go to Kessel Drive Incorporated.
do it.
Okay, so you picked first. I'm gonna hit B, and here is the answer. B.
Oh
No.
crap! Oh no!
It is A.
Oh.
Cygnus Spaceworks.
Oh.
Jeez, we are horrible.
Who would know that?
I don't know.
If you, I do want to meet. If anybody really, I gotta look up see who like done this book before and like gotten a perfect score.
Yeah. So we are now 6 and 6
Man,
through 12.
we need. I gotta do some studying next week.
Man,
Start reading everything about Star Wars.
Cygnus Spaceworks. But here's the thing: you ever ask us that again? We know
Yes.
the answer.
I know it.
You know, like if we're somewhere, and we're like, "Is this a Theta class shuttle?" Yeah. Do you know who made that? You don't know? We know.
Come on,
Come on.
We do it. If there's a Star Wars Jeopardy at any
Oh
point,
man.
we'll be
Oh, do it. We're all over it. Actually, we can create. You can create the Jeopardy with
Yeah.
this. Okay. One thing I do want to finish up talking about. First off, we are Inside the Force. You can follow us on Twitter at Inside the Force. Email us at info@insidetheforce if any questions, comments. Casey is Kryptonium1138 on Twitter. I am dcottingham21 if you want to just follow us. InsideTheForce.com. You can listen to all the podcasts right there. You can click on all of our Twitters are there. All of our links to the 21 Network that we're a part of, all the other podcasts, all the other 21 Productions projects that we're involved in. It's all right there, InsideTheForce.com. So not only is it Rebel Alliance Month, but I do just briefly want to talk about that across the 21 Network right now, it is actually Super Month, where all the other podcasts are kind of talking about Superman, and we are seeing Superman, the Man of Steel, here in a couple days. We are Star Wars fans, but we are huge. Me and Casey both are huge Superman fans, and we cannot wait. So we never had a chance to talk about Superman on this. So.
I briefly mentioned Superman earlier in the show. I think
you did
the whole because shooting production schedule. Superman had a long production.
Oh right,
yes.
So that's right.
I got Superman in there. Somehow.
You did, but I just wanted to mention it because it is happening across the network, and we don't really talk about anything but Star Wars on here, but. This is, for a DC fan, because I'm a DC Comics fan, and a Star Wars fan, it's been a little rough these past 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Because we're engulfed with Marvel and Star Trek.
Yeah.
But I feel like that, man, these next few years, I'm going to get everything I want. I'm going to get Star Wars movies. And I'm going to get DC movies. I can't wait. I can't wait. So, what's just last finish up? What's what's your feeling about? I know we talked about it to death, but Man of Steel.
Yeah, for all our Star Wars fans who want to know.
Yeah.
Gosh, yeah. I'm just ready to be blown away. I mean, the reviews are starting to come in right now on Rotten Tomatoes, and everybody's loving it except for one random, weird guy in IndieWire who says it's bad, but whatever.
He says bad.
He said like it's just a regular old blockbuster. It's nothing special. It's just like a little blockbuster. But whatever. IndieWire.
Yeah.
But I am crazy pumped for this movie. I am just ready. I mean, it's like The Dark Knight where I went in with high expectations and they were, blown away. Like, I'm going with super high expectations and they are going to be destroyed with something much greater than I can even imagine.
I know. And I think, I keep mentioning this on the other podcasts, is that I have not been this excited since episode 1.
Yeah.
I mean, when I saw the first teaser for episode 1, I just could not contain myself. Like, I wanted to see the movie so bad. I just couldn't. And they came out with that teaser. I remember it wasn't, I think it was November of 98, and the movie came out in May of 99. So it was, a few months. But we started hearing stuff from this a year ago. Yeah. It was last year. I think it was Comic-Con.
Seen footage from.
It's Comic-Con, right?
Right.
July of last year, the teaser came out right before Dark Knight Rises. Right. We got that little teaser with one with Jarrell's voice, one with Jonathan's voice, and I mean, I've been waiting a year, and I haven't been this excited before, and honestly, I can't even imagine once I see like episode 7 footage.
Oh my gosh!
I mean, what?
Oh my gosh! I can't. Yeah, it's unfathomable.
It is, but we may see it in a year from now.
Yeah,
probably see something a year from now.
Absolutely,
because JJ is known for promoting early. I remember when he promoted
what, Cloverfield?
Cloverfield.
Yes.
No, not just Cloverfield, but Super 8 was like a year.
Yeah.
We saw that train wreck.
Yeah.
That was the teaser.
Yeah.
And that was like a year before it came out.
Yeah.
So
very similar to Cloverfield.
Very
like the year before.
Cloverfield, yeah, because he had the statue head.
Yeah.
Statue of Liberty head. So, oh man, I just can't.
Yeah.
I just can't.
I'm actually, for like a week ago, I thought I was really excited for episode 3, and I think I was still more excited for that than I am Man of Steel. But this week, every day, I'm getting more and more pumped.
Man.
So I feel like I'm like, okay, now I'm more pumped for this movie than I was for any movie ever.
I've rewatched the dang trailers.
Yeah.
So often, I have the trailer music just constantly playing in my head right now. I was like, oh god, I got to see this thing.
My buddy Cody been texting a lot today, being like, the reviews. Oh yeah, I'm talking about like we're gonna have a Superman marathon. I think tomorrow we're gonna watch the old Christopher Reeve movies.
Yeah. I'm gonna read a lot. I'm gonna read some books that we're gonna talk about this week. But anyway, we're excited about Superman. You should be too. Mm-hmm. Man of Steel. We'll talk a little bit about it next week on the show. I think because.
Yeah,
we'll say
have to. It's just overflow.
Because honestly, I'm probably going to be sitting here with a smile on my face all next week.
What if Superman went into Star Wars universe and would you think would it still work? Would Tatooine's 2 sons be like make him super powerful?
Oh,
I don't know.
Yeah, that's crazy. Because that's a big debate. Actually, remember
we talked a little bit.
We talked about it on the road this past weekend. We said Superman versus a Jedi.
Yeah. It is tough.
It is tough.
Some people will probably be like, no, it's people will probably think no brainer a Jedi would win, and someone would think no brainer Superman would win.
Right. I think it all comes down to is the Force.
Yeah.
Magic.
But Superman's beaten magic people before.
True,
but it depends on who's.
But on a Jedi,
what Jedi? Like if it's someone who can crush your heart, if someone could just grab Superman's heart inside of him and crush it, or something crazy.
Yeah, no, that's crazy to think. But anyway, that's our show. Check us out next week when we talk about Mon Mothma on episode 13. Almost conclusion of Rebel Alliance month. Mm-hmm. Again, check us out on Inside the Force and follow us on Twitter at Inside the Force. For Casey Cooley.
You are part of the Rebel Alliance and a traitor. Take her away.
It's awesome. All right. I'm David Cottingham. That's our show. Thanks for listening, and may the Force be with you.
This has been a production of the 21 Network, a collection of weekly podcasts. For more great podcasts, visit 21network.com. To view additional content, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/21network. Follow us on Twitter at 21network for the latest news and updates. The 21 Network, for the fan and all of us.